sweatshirt's giving me big girl energy. Hi.
Hello. And welcome back to the Skinny Dip podcast. I am your co-host, Renee.
And I'm just this big blob over here in my sweatshirt. Do you ever put on a sweatshirt and think, like, I feel like the cuts of sweatshirts are really tricky, a tricky thing that no one talks about. Because I feel like some oversized sweatshirts you put on, you look like fashionable and chic, and then some you put on, you're like, huh, that did not translate how I thought it was going to translate. Does that ever happen to you?
Have you gotten this TikTok of this girl that like is making sweatshirts exactly for that reason?
No, is that a thing? Someone's doing that?
Well, apparently, like I guess if a sweatshirt, like if a hoodie is not, if it's just a box, like if the cut of it goes straight down, it's not going to give you that kind of fashion look. But if it narrows in a little bit, then it has more of that
finesse that you're looking for.
Yes, finesse. Exactly.
I don't know what I don't know what I look for, but I actually think a lot of the sweatshirts I put on, I'm like, huh. I end up changing them like 6 times because I'm like, this isn't what I think. Not for any reason, just because you wear, like, if I'm wearing a cropped one, I don't know. Anyway, I have the sweatshirt on today, and I feel like when you stand up, it looks oversized, but when it sit down, it looks not. I'm confused. What happened?
And from my point of view, it looks perfectly fine. So,
anyways, happy holidays, friends.
Happy December.
Happy December. We're in the holiday season. What? Like, how did we get here?
I don't know. I'm really.
It gives us, so Renee and I were talking offline, and it gives us it gives me a lot of anxiety about how fast the year is going. And we were actually kind of talking about how do we slow it down?
Yeah, like I think my main goal for 2024 is to make the year go by as slow as possible. So I don't know how to slow down the days. Maybe it's like when you're at work, don't be like, oh, I just don't want to work anymore. I want this day to be over. Like, I feel like we need to be like, no, it's okay. Like, slow down the day somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think, I was thinking about, I was like, how come as you get older, everyone says time goes by so fast? And I think I literally came to this epiphany this morning. I swear it's because as adults, you have a lot of things to do during the day, and you're not just sitting in school or this or that, and time really does go by fast. And I just don't, it's just not for me.
I also feel like when you're a kid, you don't have the concept of time to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
When you tell kids like, okay, 3 more sleeps and then Santa's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be like, oh my God, I just have to go to sleep 3 more times. That's forever. And but now we like have the weekend and it's 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird to me because it's exciting, but it's actually not. So we're officially in the holiday season. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving for all of our US babelabes. And I'm unwell. Like, how was your Thanksgiving? I know you traveled.
Oh yeah, we can do a little Thanksgiving recap. So I did travel. I went to Austin, Texas, which is where my sister lives. And it was the Wednesday. Yeah, so no, Tuesday. Tuesday, the day before we left on Wednesday. I woke up in the morning at like 5 something to a text from my sister's husband, and like texting our family. It was like, baby girl arrived at 3:54 in the morning. Like, everybody's doing great. Like, if anybody, I mean, I think I mentioned it in another episode, but my sister was very much ready to pop, so to speak. And her due date was November 25th, which is, I think that would have been the day after Thanksgiving.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So, I mean, Alex and I were going there for Thanksgiving. We were like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen. She could have the baby before we get there. She could have the baby while we're there or after. So it was kind of like a surprise. And we were just kind of going, obviously there's no control in any of that. So we were just going with the flow and see what happens. And she ended up having the baby the day before we got there. And they were able to come home on Thanksgiving. So when we got there, we were there on Wednesday, and it was like half a day. We got in so late, so we really only missed them for 24 hours. So by all things considering, that was like the best timing that could have happened.
Best case scenario. That's amazing.
I got to meet my new niece. She's so adorable.
She's so little.
I got to spend time with her son, my nephew, and we just had so much fun, and it was just like a really, really sweet time.
So great.
We actually like pre-ordered a bunch of Thanksgiving food from like a local market kind of thing in Austin, and just because we knew, like, regardless if she goes into labor or has the baby or whatever, like, it was just not the year to be homemaking
Right.
food.
Right.
So
Different time.
different time.
Mhm.
But it was like so good. So
That's
if you're
so
ever
great.
into like a pinch for Thanksgiving, like, don't feel like you have to home make everything. You can just order it. It was
Yeah.
very good. And it
Yeah.
was very easy to just heat up and put together, but we had a lovely time. So,
That's so great. Yeah, I know. It
yeah.
was a busy. I mean, also, like, I don't know why your sister likes to have babies around holidays. I think that's just a separate conversation. We should ask her offline.
She is
Why
something
does she
else
do that?
because her first baby, they came home on Christmas. So
Yeah.
he was born December 23rd and she was born November 24th. So most likely this new baby at some point in her life, her birthday will be on Thanksgiving.
Probably,
It just
which is like
depends on like
crazy.
how it
Yeah.
falls, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just like but it's kind of like fitting for my sister because she's a person that loves the holidays.
Mm.
Like, this is her, like,
This is like her thing.
yeah, she goes
Wow.
like to the next level with the holidays. Like, even growing up, she was always like very, very much into the holidays. Not that I
Yeah.
wasn't, but she definitely was like way more into Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of that than I was. So this makes sense for her. So
It's on par. It's on par for the personality.
100%.
That sounds so fantastic.
How
I
was
pretty
your
much I was gonna say I
Thanksgiving?
did the opposite. I just did what I normally do. I went to my grandmother's house and we just did our normal big family cousin thing. Me and my sisters actually cooked a lot of meals. We made a lot of things. Um Completely unrelated, but me and my sisters kind of had an epiphany. I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, but we were like, what happens when our traditions in terms of going to my grandmother's house changes, and
Mhm.
what happens when it's, me and my sisters and our husbands and our kids and our parents, who's going to be making the food? Because like right now it's a collaborative effort between everyone. So me and my sisters are actually on a mission we started a shared note and we're writing down all of our family recipes.
That's so
um
smart.
and eventually once I have enough, it'll probably be me because like this is who I am as a person. Once
Well,
I
and you're
have
the
we
older sister too,
right.
so
Once we have enough in there, I'll print everything out and I'll like put in a cookbook and like kind of do it so we can um use it for future. But it's crazy because I we have family recipes, and then my uncle um has a lot of family recipes like straight from Italy. Like, there's a lot of family history there. So
wait,
we
you're
just
Italian?
no, I'm not Italian.
Oh, okay. I was like,
My uncle
how did
who's
I not know that?
Italian. No, my uncle who is
Oh, by
Italian
marriage.
by
Okay.
marriage. He cooks everything. He's like such an amazing chef. Like he just is just so talented. He grew up doing it with his mom, Nona, and so we just have so many family recipes that I want to incorporate into our family because
Yeah.
they've been a part of our tradition my whole entire life. So we just want to start doing that. And I think it's actually kind of a fun thing. If you're looking for a project that no one asks for, just start making a
I
cookbook.
love I love that idea. I've actually been like um I've been wanting to, like, I used to scrapbook
Of
like
course you
back in the
did.
yeah.
I don't know
And I feel
what do
like
people even scrapbook? What do you do with that?
I think it's just so I actually
Do
okay,
you
so one thing, and I
so
literally would not stop talking about it. So now when my sister listens to this, she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, you are next
mm,
level." But I we went to their house obviously in Austin, and it was the first time I was going to their new house since they
yeah.
moved. And she just has like the cutest little sentimental things in her house.
Mm.
They have like the cutest little photo albums. Like, she has like a little box of like travel trinkets. They have like a bookcase of, family photos and stuff. And I was like, I'm a psychopath because in my house I have like nothing that is like of personal belonging.
It's
You know what I
giving
mean?
more Good Housekeeping, page 7, right?
Well, I just like feel like I'm like, oh my god, I have nothing of some sentimental value.
Mhm.
So it inspired me to be like, okay, I need to, I have like a little basket full of a bunch of different like things I've collected over the years.
Yeah.
Just like, but it's like paper things or
Right.
pictures or
Right.
I don't even know what to explain, like what to say I
Yeah.
have in that little basket of stuff. But I was like, oh my God, I could totally like make a cute scrapbook. Or
Yeah.
you took all of those Polaroids from Alex and I's wedding, and I would love to do like a wedding kind of scrapbook of like the invitation and this
Yeah.
and that. So it's something that I've been thinking
It's
about. So
okay. You know what? Maybe there comes a point in time. I don't know if it's just during the holidays or just in general. You hit a point you're like, huh, I need to start. I just want to start like collecting things to like make your own that's like related to your family. Like you just want to start making these little
yeah, I don't know. I
things.
just was
I think that's a
inspired. So
fantastic project for you.
thanks. And it made me think of it because you could make your family cookbook into kind of like a family cookbook scrapbook,
Yeah, totally.
Maybe you put a picture of the recipe or a picture of you with your
Oh, that's
family at
such a good
Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? That'd be
idea.
really cute.
That's really great. You know, it's crazy because when you think about it, when you know my grandparents, like their traditions obviously live through my parents and then they live like it continues through the people. And
Yeah.
so it's like if you want to keep it those traditions going, at some point you have to take the reign and
Yes.
make sure those traditions keep going. That's also um one more thing. It's like at my grandmother's house, I actually bought a book and she has all these stories. And so for the past like few years, anytime we went over, I would just have her tell me stories and write it in this book. So that like eventually, we have this book of her memories because we won't know everything about her life,
Yeah.
like every little thing. So it's just interesting. And I actually think it's kind of fitting that we were talking about that because we're talking all about holiday blues and holiday traditions and holiday survival hand guide today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to, before we dive in, hit us with your recommendation?
Oh yeah, because we kind of like
Yeah, I know, but I'm just so excited because I don't know, it's interesting to me.
okay, my recommendation this week is it's not reusable, sorry. It's
Okay.
a one-time use facial towel for after you wash your face. You can use this towel to just cleanse instead of using like a hand towel or something like that. It's
Hmm.
just supposed to be less bacteria. You're not using, if even if you're using a clean detergent, there's probably still some fragrance or bacteria on that hand towel that you're using. And I'm on a skin journey. So it's called Clean Skin Club. I've ordered them from Amazon, but I do believe you can order them just off of their website. I think they even have a subscription.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they're about $20 a box.
What
Does that
size? I think they come in sizes. So I actually looked this up
Oh, I got extra
recently.
large, I
Me too. I got
think.
the extra large. Okay. But I would agree.
And
They're pretty good.
I would say, it's not the most eco-friendly thing in the world, but what I do usually is after I use the towel, I actually like reuse that towel to like clean my sink or whatever.
Oh,
So you
beautiful.
can kind of, have multiple uses for it, but
Versatile.
it's really great. So definitely recommend it. Again, it's called Clean Skin Club facial towels.
I actually purchased them.
Yes.
I like them. I
I know they're
fully
really
support. They're really great. They're massive. The extra large size is massivo. But I enjoy that. So
I saw it. I guess Aaron got a TikTok about them or maybe something like it, and people say to cut them in half.
I actually did that. I cut mine in half.
But then can I say something that I don't know
Sure.
if it's like
I know
OCD?
I know exactly what you're going to say. Can I guess what you're going to say? But if you
Yeah.
cut them, then they're not really that clean because then all the bacteria on the scissors is getting onto the towel. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like really
I
now
mean you
that
could rip them.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. Wow, I didn't
God,
think
I
of
know
that.
you way too well.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's making me feel
So
uncomfortable.
that's why I didn't
Yeah.
I I won't even let the towel like I take it out the second after I wash my face cuz I won't let it like touch other things besides my face first.
There's
I
a
know,
lid. There's a lid for every pot. I'm glad you found yours.
Oh.
Actually, this episode is a shout out to Alex.
Oh.
Your your support for her is unreal. Okay, kind of piggybacking off that, my recommendation, I know we mentioned a few times, and originally Renee was the one who suggested this, but I jumped on the wagon a while ago. Ritual vitamins. If you're looking for a nice pop of that multivitamin with a surprising hint of mint, I would check them out. I really think they're great vitamins. It's easy. I get weird about subscriptions sometimes 'cause I'm like, "Oh, do I need to spend the money?" But it's easy to have the subscription. They're clean. So if you're in the market for a new multi, head on into that ritual realm.
Yeah, I would say vitamins is something uh, that, like, a subscription is very helpful for,
Yeah.
'cause I
Sometimes I
will
feel like you get
forget.
weird about subscriptions though. Do you, or is it just
Oh,
me?
me? No, I get weird about
Yeah, me
subscriptions.
too. Because I'm like, oh, how I think it's like $30 a month or whatever it is, like, $30 a month. But then it's like in hindsight, then it actually takes off less stress because I still need a multivitamin every single day, and then I don't have to run to the grocery store. It just
Yeah.
sometimes
That's
you just
I
gotta pull
mean,
the trigger.
I think there's some things that are means for not having a subscription and, like, other
Yeah.
things. I won't do and I don't know if it's dumb, but, like, on Amazon, like, things that you buy all the time, I will never do, like, auto renew.
Oh, I don't ever do that.
I don't know why. I just, like, wanna have the control on when I'm purchasing it.
Yeah, I also feel like sometimes when I do the subscriptions, I do like to do it directly through the manufacturer for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes with I don't know. I think that's like a weird thing I do.
No, I
But
don't
yeah.
know. I
So those are recommendations for the week. If you guys want to check them out, highly, highly suggest. Are we ready to talk about this week?
Yes, our little holiday survival handbook?
I would
Guide?
say guidebook, handbook.
What is why can't I think is handbook's a word, right?
Of course, handbook's a word. We
Okay.
have a corporate handbook. I guess you don't read it at
Oh,
work.
no.
Something separate we can talk
Actually, no, I was perusing it at
Okay,
the
yeah,
beginning of this
yeah.
last week.
We just feel like, honestly, the holiday season is, while it's very magical in a lot of ways, it can definitely bring out a lot of undertones of maybe things that aren't as pleasant. And we feel you. We literally feel everyone on that level. There's so many different dynamics that go into the holidays, and we're here to
Mhm.
help you navigate and try to break down tips and tricks, and let's just normalize the chaos around the holiday season because I
Yeah.
think that's a big
100
thing.
100%. It's a time filled with all different types of
Yeah.
emotions pocketed into one.
Yeah, what is that?
I
How
don't
does
know.
it do that? It's like such a great and joyous time, but then on the flip side, holiday blues are a real thing. That's
Yeah.
real. And you can have quote unquote this Instagram perfect life, even though we all know that doesn't exist. And you could have a great family, great relationship, great job, everything, and you still feel this overwhelming sense of sadness. And like that is so normal because, like I said, like the holidays come with joy and happiness. It also comes with grief and sadness and
Mhm.
loneliness and
Mhm.
anxiety and stress. And I don't really think a lot of people talk about that just because it's the holiday season. But like
Yeah.
sometimes I think we need to.
Yeah. No, I think sometimes it can point out, like, it just has this way of magnifying things that maybe you don't have,
Hmm.
or things that are missing, or uh things that just I don't know, it just has this way of magnifying everything in your life, like the good feelings and the bad feelings.
Yeah.
It's just a very specific time of year, and also I think because it's so close to the actual end of the year,
Mm.
you may be in this point of, like, retrospection, because we were like that. Is that a word? I don't know. But like, we were already being like, "Oh my god, like, how did this year go by so fast?"
Yeah.
Like, blah 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 blah. So I think that kind of also gets coupled in with it too. It's just
It almost feels like a never-ending race to the finish line, but you're never really fully excited once you get there because, like you said, the end of the year, everyone's reflecting, everyone's whatever, and it's like it's so easy to get stuck in this like type of comparison and why am I not here? I thought I'd be
yeah,
here, X, Y, and Z. And it's like a rough go. I don't know. My heart goes out to a lot of people and even, honestly everyone. I just feel like it's hard to sometimes navigate when you have so many people around you being like, it's the best. It's the best. And, I definitely fell victim to that. Sometimes people are like, I don't like the holidays." I'm like, "What? You don't like the holidays?"
Yeah. I
But
mean, and there could be different reasons why people don't. Like, they could, have somebody in their family that is no longer with them, or uh, maybe they're just not like happy with where they are right now in their life, or
yeah.
just like so many different things, or they have even a strained relationship with their family,
Mhm.
or you know certain people in their family have strained relationships, so it puts them in certain positions. It's just,
It's a lot.
it really
Yeah. What
is.
I think is interesting is I know last year when we talked about the holidays, Renee mentioned, you know, we actually, I don't know if we mentioned, we kind of came to epiphany together where it was like almost like you were grieving the tradition change. And I
Yeah.
feel like honestly, even now still you're on this conquest, maybe not as intense as a conquest, but you're definitely still trying to figure out transitions in terms of traditions, like the traditions you used to know growing up, like how does that look now that you have a husband and that
Yeah.
essentially your family's all over, smeared a little bit all over the southeast, Texas, Midwest. I don't know where the hell Texas is, but
Texas, I guess, is just considered the South,
the
right?
South, like,
Yeah.
you guys are all smeared around. And I feel like it's really interesting because I feel like last year you were in a different place in terms of traditions than you are this year. I feel like this year you kind of have a better um understanding of it, but I feel like that's
E
something that's really typical. A lot of people grieve too.
100%, because even just like when you had brought up Thanksgiving, that like you have been doing the same thing every year forever. Growing up, we did do like a really big like Thanksgiving with like all the family and stuff like that. And like over the years, as we've gotten older, like that has just slowly changed. And it was like a slow progression. Like the group got smaller, people moved
Right.
away. Like that's something that I think is so common that we're all kind of faced with now. Um, a lot of people don't live close to their family anymore. We're kind of all spread out. And I think that's just the era of technology, because we meet people that, like my husband, like I mean, you're not marrying your neighbor anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to,
Right.
I
Right.
guess maybe some people are marrying their high school sweethearts or whatever, and then you stay in your town, and
Mhm.
you kind of have that community already built in around you. But I think a lot of us don't have that really anymore.
Yeah.
Where you're not like living in the place that you grew up, or you're or your family has moved away, or your parents are separated, or whatever it is. And it just kind of does make this time a little bit more tricky to navigate,
Yeah.
not only actual like physicality, like dynamic wise, like I can't be in three places at once, even though I'd love to be like to do that. uh so that's part of it, but then it's also like the emotional side of it too. And I think if it was last year that we were talking about it, or if it was just one of my things that I wanted to focus on, not only like this past year, but just in general, is not having traditions just only be around the holiday time.
Right.
I don't know what those are really, but maybe I don't know, but focusing more on just other things throughout the year and how I can spend time with my family that's not just, oh, it has to be Thanksgiving or it has to be Christmas. Like,
Right.
of course, that's ideal, and you want to be with your family during that time of year, but sometimes it's just not feasible for certain reasons or whatever. So, how can I still incorporate feeling really connected to like my family or my community or whatever in other parts of the year? Because also sometimes the holidays just get so much, I think because there's so much hype
Yeah.
too, it makes it just kind of it, I don't know, like it just it doesn't, like, expectations versus reality are so jaded.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. Cuz I was just about to say, what is, okay, you're saying we're saying traditions, we're saying w- what is it about traditions that people naturally gravitate towards? This is just random, I just thought of. Like, what is it, the sense of doing, like, is this the sense of stability? Because when you do the
Probably.
same thing every year, it's like a sense of stability?
Mhm.
It's such an interesting concept because I feel like as humans, I feel like everyone's always looking for that tradition. And like you said, it's a 4th of July party. It's every second week in March, every single year you guys go away somewhere. Like something about the root of traditions, I think is where it gets a little dicey.
Well, also, I don't like, as people, we don't really like change.
Yeah, why is that?
So, I think it just makes it doesn't feel good, like, you kind of puts your brain in, like, alert mode, like, "Ooh, something's
Yeah.
different," you know?
Yeah.
So, when we have traditions that we've spent with certain people during the holidays, or we've done certain things, or made certain things, or whatever, and then that slowly starts to go away, it does, I mean, at least definitely for me, it gives this kind of sense of, "Oh, things are changing." And
Yeah.
I remember too, like, this doesn't really have anything to do with the holidays, but it was right before I did get married. That was when I was like, "Whoa, like, things are changing." Like, I felt a
Yeah.
huge shift of, like, not that I'm like, it really did kind of felt like this bridge between leaving my parents and, like, being with Alex, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it really kind of felt like that, like, real tradition transition,
Yeah.
and a really, like, I mean, that's a very traditional way to think, but I did feel it. I was like, "Whoa," like, I it is that is happening. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of was grieving that, like, past that I used to have of, like, being, like, with my family, or being, like, it's, like, a very, like, you feel very, like, "Okay, like, I'm truly," like, it's, like, just branching into that next level of life or whatever. Um, so I think that kind of, like, also has just changed my traditions with the
Yeah.
holidays and stuff like that
Yeah.
too.
And I think if you're not aware of that type of transitioning happening, or, I think if you're not hyper aware of what the holiday quote unquote season brings, it is easy to fall into that blue state, and it is easy to um maybe not feel the jolliest this time of year, because again, like it does bring up a lot of crazy emotion. I mean, even when you think about like family traditions and you think about navigating relationships with family members that you maybe don't see eye to eye on, or
Mm,
relationships that you respectfully don't really care for, because just because your family doesn't make you family, you know what I mean? Like family is a very objective or subjective, whatever word. And maybe you're someone listening right now and you're going to go to your extended family's house, but you don't see eye to eye to like with them on a lot of things. And I think that also can put a negative, stressful connotation
totally.
on the holidays, because I, I
Totally.
I'm I'm going to speak for everyone when I say I think everyone struggles with that. I have
I
yet to
agree.
hear about a family, find a family that agrees on everything 110%. And it's tricky when you feel this like torn middle ground of wanting to spend time with the family that you do maybe get along a little better with versus seeing the ones that you don't. And I feel like sometimes it's hard to navigate that, because it's almost like you just got to, personally, the way I view it, it's like you just got to smile and be like, hi, how are you? Like, and just be cordial and move on. But that can also give people a lot of anxiety.
Totally. Because
Why?
if you
It's
uh,
so weird.
it's just, yeah, I mean, there's certain dynamics, or there could be stuff that, like, happened in the family that's just, like, tension, you
Yeah,
know? Um, and it can just make it so uncomfortable.
it
Yeah.
can. And, speaking from experience, I think sometimes when there is tension in an extended family, or um tension, really in any type of family, I don't want to say time heals everything, because I think that's also a tricky phrase, but I think time does help. It does help make sometimes wounds a little less brazen. And I think sometimes, especially during the holiday season, it takes a lot to kind of put what you want to say, or the feelings you have, not on the forefront, and try to put on a calm demeanor and approach situations that maybe give you anxiety, or relationships that give you anxiety, in a very peaceful manner.
Yeah.
Um It's definitely not easy to do, but I think sometimes you're just in these situations where you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna see them. I really don't wanna talk to them too much, but I am gonna see them. Like, how do I brace myself, prepare myself to have a conflict-free interaction?"
Yeah, yeah. Oof.
I know. Again, and this is why it's like we don't want this episode to come off so harsh, but I think sometimes, yeah, the holidays it's an amazing time, but it's also tough for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Because you know what happens if you don't really get along with any of your family
Ugh,
or your
I know.
friends?
And that's when it comes to, well, chosen family, you
Yeah.
know? Um, which is also even becomes harder to navigate as you get older too, because a lot of your friends aren't near each other anymore. And even just, if you see things on social media and people are like going to a huge Friendsgiving, you
I
know?
I I would love to experience that. I don't think I ever will experience a Friendsgiving. I gotta be honest. Do you think you will?
Well, I've experienced a few
Oh, I've
already,
never.
but I mean, that's not something it's not a tradition that I have every year. If I lived close to friends, I would absolutely love to do that, you
Right.
know? It's just again, it brings us back to, like, we're all kind of separated around the map. Like, we just
Yeah.
we're just further and we move around because I think it's not like the 1950s when you marry your next door neighbor and then you
Yeah.
grow up in the same town together and
Sometimes
then
I wish it was like that. I gotta be honest.
well, you could be on the fast track to that if you find yourself a Long Island boy.
When do we think that's gonna happen? I don't know. We'll have to do that.
2024.
I was hoping
It should
2023, but
well,
I
it should be
respectfully think my time is dwindling.
it should be
So
yeah, it should be main goal 2024.
it's main goal all the time. Even my sister Shannon was like, she said something. She's like, "Is that going to be on your goals list?" I'm like, "It's always on my goals list. I just don't write it down because there's no need to throw salt in the wounds." Like, you know what I mean?
That's
It's
true.
easier to like pretend like it doesn't exist in my mind than when you see it written down. You're like, "Oh."
Maybe try writing it down this year, see what happens.
We'll say. We'll definitely say. I mean, yeah, but it's a whole
But you
separate
could,
conversation. I could.
because you kind of are still in that, but you know what I mean. It's just, I think when we all kind of separate and grow up and move
Yeah.
around and stuff, it does make it a little bit more difficult to have that. I don't the big group of friendsgiving, and also this is just you see things on social media that it's not always what you think it is.
Never. It
So
literally never is.
I would definitely suggest if you're not feeling up to it, like, great time for a little social media break would be during the holiday season.
Yeah.
I probably will go on one. I've already kind of like slowly started it. I never really take a social media break from TikTok because
It's a little different.
it just like knows who I am, and if I'm not feeling like if I'm like being antisocial or in a minute sad mood, it will understand that, and it's not going to give me people living their best life.
Yeah. I also will say, like Renee said, staying off social media is a great. Although if you're gonna DM the Skinny Dip podcast, maybe let me know because if Renee's gonna take a social media break, we gotta
Oh,
we gotta
well,
slide
yeah,
in there. That's different. That's different.
yeah.
But staying off social media, I also think, and we talk about it a lot, but I think sometimes when you're in a place of maybe not feeling your happiest, quote unquote, doing something you don't normally do can kind of reshift you. Maybe if you do love to put up a tree, but it brings you sadness, maybe pick a themed tray and instead of doing something that you would normally do, deck that thing out in pink and leopard. You know what I mean? Do something
Oh,
that maybe you still like to do but changes it a little bit because I feel like that could help.
did you put up your tree?
I did.
I put it up last night.
I put it up and I wanted to change the theme, but then Shannon, my sister, was like, we thought about changing the theme when she was living with my other sister and blah blah. But like something about me investing a lot of money into like decorations and stuff when I don't have a house, like I just have an apartment right now, which is fine. You can definitely do that. I just don't want to do that. But I was scrappy and found some other decorations in my bin that I just like added to my tree.
That's fun.
It's
Yeah.
really quite lovely. It turned out to be a nice little upgrade from last year, but yeah, we decorated.
Wow, send me a pic.
I will definitely send you a picture because I also um, need to start wrapping gifts, which I know you're not doing this year.
Oh, yeah, we should talk about gift giving.
Let's talk about gift giving because woes to our financial stress. Well, woes to the financial era. I mean, we've said it before. Economy ain't so great. Just rough go.
Yeah,
Eggs are like $25.
it's crazy.
Even though I don't eat eggs because hashtag adult acne, but everything is so expensive. And Renee and I, unintentionally, obviously, because we don't plan our lives around this, but we are doing something totally opposite this year. I am doing all the gifts. Just call me Mrs. Claus. Sans the Mister. Still looking. Applications are welcome. And Renee is not.
I feel like you usually do. I
I
don't.
do. I usually do a lot of
Well,
gifts.
so we've definitely I mean, I guess, like, we would do, like, little things, and, like,
Mhm.
Alex and I would exchange gifts, but we did kind of just order some stuff for Black Friday that we wanted as a couple, I guess, that came already to the house, and I'm just not gonna wrap them, and it's just I can decide, like,
Yeah.
before, when you're younger, your mom maybe knows what you want, but she's gonna hold, like, "Okay, that's for Christmas," you know?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I I have that luxury now where I can decide, like, "Oh, okay, like, I bought it on Black Friday, it's gonna be Christmas now."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but no, I'm not doing any gifts. Alex and I aren't exchanging any gifts on Christmas. I'm not buying any gifts for friends and family. Um,
That's
I
it.
don't I we're
It's
just Oh,
it,
speak of the devil, my dad is calling. So,
um
have to
it's but tell us why, because I think, and
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't really it's not all of a sudden like you guys decided November 1, the whole entire group text family was like, we're not doing gifts. I feel like this has been like kind of a slow progression.
for
Would you
sure.
agree?
It's a slow progression, and I also, like, now, like, my parents are grandparents, so they're buying
Right.
gifts for our like, my niece and nephew. Like,
Yeah.
that's I think that kind of starts to change too as you get older. Like, when we have kids and stuff, it's gonna be more focused on the kids. I
Right.
just It's so interesting how Christmas does feel. It's just so joyous for young children.
I
And I
know.
think once we do have a child, like, it's going to be like right now, it's just not that's going to completely change. And, like, Christmas is going to be I want to give them the type of Christmas that I had,
Mhm.
and really feel really joyous and happy, and, something exciting. And obviously Christmas is not just about the gifts, but there
Nope.
is, it is a gift giving holiday, and you want people that you love and around you to feel really special and something that you thought about that they would like or whatever. I love
Yep.
that. But last year, I think I was, like, wanting to do gifts, and my family were just like, they're like, "Yeah, we're not doing gifts." And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, that's what I want. I wanted to make sure you guys wanted to do that because I wanted
sure."
to do
So then I just won't I was like, "Okay, no
that.
problem." So, and then last year, I think Alex and I did exchange gifts. But honestly, like, Alex and I, we went on really nice vacations this past year. We buy things when we want to buy them,
Yeah.
and we just decided, this Christmas it's just going to be the joy of each other. We're not going to exchange anything physical on the day
Yeah.
of Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
And that's really, again, it's really the holiday season and this time of year is what you make it, right? There's no right or wrong ways to do it. It's while everyone says, "Oh, you should feel this joy all year round." We know, we don't. It's finding magic in different ways. And I think that's what's so amazing about the holidays and Christmas and, we'll loop Thanksgiving in, and they're not the same. It's the magic, and it's the magic that you create, and it's
yeah.
it's that's really what this season is about. And if you want to create magic by making rice pudding all day on Christmas, pop off, queen. You make that rice pudding and you add whatever you want because that's your tradition. That's what you're doing. Like it's the gifts don't matter really.
Yeah, I was like, I want to do a bunch of really good stuff to eat on Christmas Day. I do think,
Yeah.
I mean, my mom is going to come here, so I'm assuming that's, I would say, we're gonna have to circle back on that. But I'm pretty sure she's coming here unless we're going there. We haven't decided yet, but
Okay, sounds like we have to have a little team meeting offline.
I would like her to come here,
Yeah.
but, I wanna have, like, good food and stuff like that, and we can
Yeah.
watch, like, a Christmas movie or whatever, just, like, hang out, like,
Yeah.
I honestly like it to just be, like, super chill, and just,
Mine
like,
will not be chill.
a nice thing to just relax and enjoy,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
um
No, I mean, it's definitely, again, everyone does things differently. Renee's doing something a little bit more simplistic, like not simplistic, but just not gifts. And then you have me on the other hand. I have one, two, hold on, 4, 6, 7, like 10 gifts, like 10 different things to buy for.
yeah, that's so
Hmm. I will say I don't think it helps
it's
that
a lot of money.
I just have a big family in terms of obviously my siblings. I'm one of 4. And, we still do holidays at my grandmother's house. And so growing up, we used to always do gifts things have just changed, but, we still do things in terms of gifting. It definitely is a lot of money though. Call for what it is. You know what I mean? It's not, everything's not cheap. It costs a lot of money. You have to kind of pre-plan. And if you're feeling stressed, I'm sure this can go one of two ways. You're either feeling stressed about gifts and you don't buy gifts, or you're feeling stressed about gifts and still want to get gifts, or you want to go all out. If you're in a situation where you want to buy and you're financially strained, like the big gifts don't matter. You don't need to, no one cares respectfully about the car that's outside that you're cool. I bought this. No one cares. No one cares. So
Yeah,
if you want to give but you're stressed out about um how much you can give, I think it really is the thought that counts. And I have to say a good card and a little gift card goes such a long way. And it's not something that you need to stress out about, but if you are stressing, like, we feel you. I feel you. My card feels you.
yeah,
We feel you. We're here. You're not a singular experience.
I know, I just
I know. But I am
it's too
curious.
much.
I know it is a lot. It's I actually got most of it done already, but I do have a few lingering things that I have to get done. Um, but you know what I will say? It doesn't help that we don't get bonuses at work during the holidays.
Oh, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of companies that do.
Mm.
I
Why
think
don't we?
I think it's more so
How do we start that? Because
why do I think it's, like, sales more so that gets or, like, if you're working some sort of if
I
you
don't
kind of, like,
know.
reach a quota or something like that, like, we're not doing anything that reaches certain
Yeah, but like in my past life before the company that we work at now, I got a bonus. I think
Really?
I got like a second paycheck or something, or like a few hundred
Wow.
dollars.
Yeah, it'd
I
be
don't get
nice.
that. We don't get that.
Mm-mm.
Why is that?
I
Okay. I
I
right. If anyone's listening, let's rally to get everyone holiday bonuses, because
yeah, I
Renee and
feel
I are
like
salary and we get no bonuses. So
yeah, I do believe
there's
that would be nice, but no, I
I
don't I don't know,
do believe that would be nice.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. So I mean, and again, Renee and I have kind of talked about this in the past, but just budgeting is really tricky in general. Then when you get to the holidays, and um I think our best advice would be don't feel the need to get anything. If you feel compelled to and you feel called to and you want to, that's amazing. But respectfully, anyone who's going to throw shade at you or give you a hard time for not wanting to get a gift is probably not doing it for the right reasons anyway.
Let me ask you a triggering question though. Like,
Okay.
what if you said to your family this year that you're not in a place to give gifts financially? Like, how do you think that would go over?
I think one of two things would happen. I think if
Mhm.
I said that, I think my sisters would be like, "Okay, well we'll get them for you." I think they would
Okay.
feel compelled to chip in.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would feel compelled to chip in because they want to get a gift. I think it would be more so because they don't want me to feel left out,
Okay.
more
That's
so.
nice.
Um, I'm sure if I said I'm not getting anyone gifts,
Or even if
I
it was just not financial. Like, what if you were just like, this year I've decided that I don't want to do gifts for Christmas
I
just
think
for
it would be a shock for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think it would be okay and move on. I think it would definitely be a shock.
Okay.
More so, I think, because that would be breaking tradition.
I see, yeah, again, it brings it back.
Right. It
Yeah,
comes back to
brings it
that, like,
back, brings
foundation
it
of
back.
tradition.
Yeah.
I think that's what it would be. I personally do, and I think just knowing my sisters, I don't really think I don't know if it's a Long Island thing or if it's just a my family thing. I don't really think they would lay down and allow that to happen. I think they
Yeah.
would be a little brazen with it and tell me I had to do it. To be honest.
I was just curious.
Yeah, but I think it kind of ties back to like if I said I wasn't doing it, it would be because I'm changing it, because that's something we've always done. And I think reception to change is hard.
Yeah,
Breaking tradition
totally.
can be hard.
Yeah.
Um well, I think if it was a slow burn and I just slowly faded out, maybe that
That's what
would
I
be a little
think.
easier.
I do think that's what happened
I
with
think that's what happened with
my
you guys as
family,
well.
and also
Yeah.
we don't live near each other.
I mean,
So, I
respectfully,
mean,
no one's paying $100 to put your gifts on a check-in bag and carrying that
and
shiz
we've
to
we've
Texas.
like done that before, and like I mean, I've just gone through so many iterations of holidays,
Yeah.
because I've got parents who are no longer together, and Aaron and I had we would when we all still lived in like Connecticut, it would be okay, Christmas at mom's house, then Christmas at dad's house, then like Christmas at the aunt's house. So we would just kind of like be
Bop.
shuffled around.
Mhm.
And then when my dad moved to North Carolina, it was like, okay, Christmas in Connecticut, get on the plane the next day, Christmas in North Carolina. And then we were like so I have been through like so many different
Yeah.
iterations of the holidays that some years, very a lot of gifts and we're shuffling things around, we're fitting them in our suitcase, wrapping when we get there, and it, again, I'm still very grateful and I love all of these, like all of that is still like very fun memories, but there is something about like this time now where it's just talking to each other on the phone or
Yeah.
having my mom here and making a special breakfast and not feeling like we have to spend a ton of money or whatever it's
Yeah.
slowly started to get less and less and less. And I think, you know, once, I mean, now Aaron has 2 kids, and I know my parents have already asked for what they want. I mean, obviously they're not old enough to
Right,
want
right,
things for
right.
Christmas, but that's more of like, I think,
The
going into the
focus.
focus there.
Yeah.
Um so it's just like a changing time,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There is peace in stillness though. When you think about all the holiday shuffle and whatever and if however you approach the holiday season, there is a lot of tranquility and peace in just finding stillness in the season and really just embracing it for what you want it to be and how you may or may not give back or whatever the case may be. Um I've been seeing something on TikTok recently that a lot of people are doing the giving trees and stuff like that, and people are getting a lot of backlash for posting that on TikTok because people are
what's
like,
a
"Why are
giving
you?"
tree? I don't.
It's like it's what I do every year. It's like you get a tag with a name or an age of a child, and you buy a
Oh,
gift
that's
for the child. Like
lovely.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think they call it different things like angel trees, giving
Okay, okay,
trees, or something.
okay.
You know what I mean? But I've been seeing a lot of influencers post TikToks about like going to buy stuff for that, posting on
Mm,
TikTok, and everyone is
why is that
I don't
bad?
know. People are throwing shade at them because they're like, "You're just doing it for the video." But I think
What?
we also need
Oh.
to respect people's person at the end of the day, we say this a lot, but you have to live with yourself. And I think we need to respect people's personal decisions. And if they want to donate and they want to showcase, maybe not showcase is the right word, but show that, I think that's allowed. And I don't think during the holiday season we should be poo-pooing on anyone for doing that.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
wouldn't
It's
go
weird.
out of my way to assume that. I mean, I know there's people that just do things because they're doing
Totally.
it for a video.
Totally.
I don't, you don't want to, but I also don't want to go off and just have this cynical mindset that everybody is in it for
No.
the wrong reason
I don't
either.
think so. And respectfully, like unless you're pulling someone's bank account and seeing their donations throughout the year, you don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
they probably
yeah,
do this
yeah.
all the time and they don't even tell you. Like they haven't, I think it's the power of maybe the ripple effect. You know what I mean? Like if you show that you're doing something, maybe that inspires someone else to do something different this year. And that means a little kid can have, a Christmas that they've never had. And I think it's just more so people post about it just to bring awareness to it. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
so okay.
Yeah,
I
I don't
haven't
know.
gotten any of that on my TikTok, but
Maybe you'll be
that's
served.
probably now. Yeah.
Yeah. What would be one maybe a little piece of advice, Nay, you have for someone struggling during this holiday season, whether it's
Hmm.
family or blues or financial, or what would be something you would say to them besides giving them a hug?
Oh, that's really sweet. I mean, I would definitely say stay off of social media. I said
Mm.
that already. But let's see, one type of advice. I'm not good off the
I
fly.
know. Do you want me to say mine
Yeah,
first?
go for it.
Okay. I think mine would probably be to ground yourself in what you know
Mm.
and don't feel pressured to do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that's really 100%. And just kind of like stay focused on, what you're doing and be just like celebrate some gratitude for what you do have,
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
know I mean, everybody is like, oh, be grateful for what you have and stuff like that. But I think, sometimes this time of year can, like I said before, can magnify the things that you don't have.
Yeah.
But just feel really lucky and grateful for what you do have. And because there are a lot of people who really don't have certain things, or there's
I
people who
know.
are grieving losses during this type of year. So just like have space for and give yourself grace too,
Yeah.
do something that will make you feel good, like take a bath or maybe book yourself a massage or whatever. Um,
And
and
listen to Kenny
just,
G. Kenny G's great. I
oh
just saw him
yeah,
in concert.
I know that's beautiful. I know, like listen to some nice Christmas music, and even if you
Or
don't
just yeah, if even if you don't like Christmas music.
if you don't want to be like super holiday season, like if you're not putting up a tree this year, or if you just are not wanting to be in it, you don't have to be.
Right.
I mean, I will say, like living in Miami, you can definitely pretend like it's just a random day in June.
Everyone's gonna be partying at Live at or Story.
Well,
What is
it's
it?
just,
Live or
oh
Story?
yeah, but it just, when you go outside, it doesn't feel like Christmas here.
Right.
So, maybe book a little trip. It
Yeah.
just will feel like you're like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
gets you out of that a little bit. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, friends, we love you and we're here for you during this holiday season and wishing you a happy December because I'm gonna say it's gonna be a good month. Even if it may not feel like it right now, it's gonna be a good month.
I think it will be too.
So we love you and we will talk to you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.